how can we get to a point where we save more money, because we're all in this to make more money. Of course, to help families, then we make money, right? We get compensated for our quality of work, and then it gets to a point where how can we use that money to help ourselves, help our family, help our friends, to invest so that we don't have to work as hard later on, right? So if you told me I had to work equally as hard in my first year as I need to for my 5th and now my 11th year, I don't know if you told me I had to call physicals for the rest of my career, I don't know if I'd be doing this. So what I'm trying to say is there's ways that you can make your business work for you, or another way of saying it is, how can you make your input today of your 8 hours of contribution to your business equate to a compounding factor in the future for your business? So it could be easier. So it could be simpler. So you don't have to work as hard. You could work hard, but it's a choice that you make. So anyways, I'd love to get a pulse of the room, and before that, I'd love to give Garrick and the whole team a round of applause for putting this together. So thank you for inviting all the people. And I'm sure a lot of people here, maybe you guys have been to in-person events, maybe it's been a while, so thank you for being here too. But if I could get a sense of who's in the room, if you're 2 years or newer in the business, can you raise your hand? Okay, so a fair amount, maybe 2/5. 8 years or less. Okay, so there's some OGs in here, some vets. Are most of us agents? Are you guys agents? Okay, cool. I'm still tempted just to ask, hey, what do you want me to talk about today? But I know Garrick had said this is more of a TED Talk. So, never been on a TED Talk before, watch some, and hopefully I can give you something that you can take away and apply in your business today. So, on the board is something that is totally irrelevant to what I'm going to be talking about, but it gives you perspective that I focus in a niche. The niche is South San Francisco, and we represent a lot of clients there. And the question is, how do we do that? Well, what I can share with you is there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that you don't see, that just because I stand in front of you today with some numbers on the board, there's no context. Just because, someone like Kenny was able to lead his team to 600 million last year?
674.
All right, sorry, 674. 674 million last year. My homie is sitting right there in the audience and still intentfully learning. So it starts with just being here and seeing what you can take away from other people. And even if it's just one thing you can apply to your business, it probably will make an impact, right? So that's just for context. I am not one to really just talk about stats. I like for my quality of work to speak in the marketplace that I serve. So that's whether it be clients that have worked with us in the past or people that have come across me or some of my agents or my staff members. I want to be able to leave them with something that is not a sour taste in their mouth, but something that they find positively memorable. And how do you do that? Is just impacting one relationship at a time. At the end of the day, in the 11 years of me doing this, and whether you've been here for 2 or 8 or 15-year career, it's just a matter of how many conversations are you having every day. We know that already. But in those conversations, what value are you providing? Right? Now, everyone defines value in a different way. For me, it's as basic as, if I'm standing here today, I'm present, and I'm having a conversation. It starts there. When I'm out knocking on doors, I bump into a homeowner, it's about me being present in a moment to have a conversation with them. And trust me, at any given moment, we're guilty. When we go on date night with our spouse or our family, what are we doing? Oh, there's a break, we're waiting for our food, let me browse on my phone. Is it Twitter? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Kenny's stories, because there's so many, right? But the idea is we need to be present in the moment so we can provide value, which is, first, it's just our attention. If we provide our attention, the impact is felt. It doesn't even matter what you say, right? You just understand that this person is here for me today. And that alone that eye contact, that 20 seconds of, hey, have a great day, I'll see you next month, is going to be memorable for the right reasons. Because first is your competition ain't gonna go out there. Second is they're so commission breath that they're looking for a deal that they're gonna push people away. So you purely setting aside an hour to dedicate your time to talk to every person that you can come across, in this case, in the neighborhood, will probably make a huge difference. And as long as you do that, you just follow your schedule. If it's 3 times a week, then it's 3 times a week. If it's 5 times a week, even better. But the question is, how can you compound your activities, right? Because in the beginning of my career, I cold called. I don't want to cold call my whole career. I want to build strong relationships. Everyone knows in this business, the ideal business that you want to get to is referral, repeat clients. But how do you get there? When I started when I was 22, 23, my friends didn't trust me. As much as I begged them to tell, hey, your parents should work with me, buy and sell a house, not gonna work with me. They have pre-existing relationships, especially the sellers. As we know, the sellers is what drives everything else in this business. But how do we get there? So I'll give you a tip. This is what I train some of my new agents on. And I even fall, what's the word I'm looking for? I even fall into the trap of talking about what I call process. So who recently, as recent as today, had a client conversation over the phone? Or maybe through text message? Okay, great. How many had a new conversation with a potential lead that you want to convert into a client? Okay, cool. What were some of the questions you guys asked in that conversation, that first conversation? If you don't mind sharing.
Well, usually it's like, what's got you looking to, purchase a house?
Great. What got you looking at purchasing a house? So let's talk about buyers. Let's say it's a first call or open house, you're talking to a buyer. What are some other things that pop up? Thank you for that.
Sure.
What else? What else do you guys talk about?
Why are you looking in this specific area?
Area, really good.
Talk about family.
I like where you're going with that, and that's part of what I'm going to talk about. Most of us feel like we need to talk about the criteria of what they're looking for. It's tied to their goal. But oftentimes we fall in the trap of, after they give us objections, what are some common objections buyer give us? Give me some.
Price.
Price is too high right now.
Price is too high.
They don't have a savings.
No savings.
Location.
Rates, location, criteria. Why should I work with you versus Redfin? What makes you different? Should I work with Unlocked? They give me a 1.5% rebate. Have you guys heard of that recently? If you think about it, all of that is what I call in the middle. People do not buy houses just because you know a little more about their criteria. People do not sell houses because you offer free staging. People do not buy houses because you give a 1.5% kickback, right? People buy houses because they believe you can help them. They truly believe you can help them, not because you ask them about their search criteria, but more so, you uncover if the process is the middle, at the beginning is the pain. And at the end of it is their goal, which I call their pleasure. When shit gets tough, they're gonna say, the market is not appropriate, interest rates just shot up, my stock portfolio just went down, and I can't cash out to put my down payment anymore. But if you never had the conversation up front to talk about their current position and how painful it is that their landlord at any moment could give them a 60-day notice to move out, or you never dug deep enough to really understand the pleasure of how their kids would go to a better school. We might find that information out through discovery, through the first call, through this first meeting, and eventually the showings. But how much time do you actually spend talking about that? I challenge you to ask deeper questions about the pain and the pleasures, because when things get tough, then you can say, your name is Veronica. Hey Veronica, I know I'm sure you've seen the impact of how tech stocks and you're vested in your company, and that's where most of your down payments was going to come from. So I want to ask you a question, Veronica. You told me that this was a very important search because you said how big of an impact this would make for your family. That you could see your kids running in a park across the street or maybe 2 blocks down, because currently you live closer to downtown and you are way too far and it's too dangerous for them to cross the street to even get to a playground. So let me ask you a question, Veronica. Because the stock market is down, are you saying you don't want to help your kids get to a better place? It comes down to that. But if I didn't understand that, then I'm just saying, oh yeah, you know what, you're right. Stocks are down. Yeah, why don't I touch base with you in a week? How can I help someone like Veronica move forward? When I understand her pain, I can poke at it. When I understand the pleasure, I can draw her towards it. This is the same for buyers. This is the same for sellers. This is the same for team members. We get in business with team members because we assume, oh yeah, I want a better lifestyle. I want the flexibility of being an agent. I want to make more money. That's true. Let's get the nitty-gritty details. Oh, it's because I've been driving a beat-up Corolla for a long time. And it would make me feel so good if I could buy a new car. Great, so it seems like maybe that's the first target. Maybe 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, what do you think? If I could accomplish it in 6 months, I'd be so happy. Great, so I'm gonna put you to it then. Why can't you, the challenge then is, why can't you have a consultant client relationship, or maybe another way of saying it, a mentor-mentee relationship with your client? If you take the position of the mentor, not that you're gonna shove something down their throat that you want them to believe, but if you help them get to the conclusion of what they truly want and what they're moving away from, then you can help them. Then you can remind them when things get tough, right? You're the consultant. You're the mentor in their life. That's who they're looking for. They're looking for guidance. They're not looking for the functionary that just, oh, you want to see a house? Okay, I'll meet you there on Saturday. Oh yeah, you like it? I'll draft an offer. They need your advice, right? And that advice is tied to what they told you in those deeper conversations because you spent the time and the awareness up front, being present to find out a little bit more. So that's my tip for you. 20 minutes is a very short time, so hopefully that helps. And then for the rest of it, let's do Q&A. What do you guys got? Any questions? Yeah?
So as far as just being present, just understanding the people that you're interacting with, are there any books or just people you're around, any recommendations just to kind of understand and develop yourself in that space?
I would say it starts with this. The quality of your questions lead to the quality of the answers you'll get. Secondly is, the more self-aware you are in what you want to accomplish, in your own self-thought, in your own questioning of yourself, of why do I want that goal, of you overcoming your own limiting beliefs, will help your ability to help your clients, your team members, the people around you. So I think it starts with the quality of questions you ask yourself. And then the quality of those questions, you can also refrain to ask your clients to give them guidance. At least that's what I do. I think a lot by myself. I'm naturally an introvert. During the weekends, I'm afforded to, because we have agents now that they find opportunities at the open house. I'd rather just be hanging out with my dog at home, reading a book, Saturday, Sunday. That's what I usually do nowadays. For Kenny, it might be going around on a scooter in Oakland. But for me, it's really just a lot of just thinking to myself. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
So what's your winning strategy of the listing? What do you do differently than other agents?
That's a great question, and I know I have limited time, so just let me know. The second point I was going to talk about was the 4 reasons why a seller works with you. Sellers will prioritize 4 things. You, as the agent, have to uncover what they prioritize and how they rank it. The 4 things in my book is cost of doing business, the value you provide, are you a neighborhood expert or area expert, and how's your relationship with them? For most, it might be a relationship. Oh, I decided to work with my cousin or my friend that's an agent. Oh, but they're in SAC. Yeah, but they're my friend. right? Then what's your objection handler for that? Or how can you help build a strong relationship with the client so that they end up saying, you know what, I feel a really good connection with you. I feel like you can truly help me. I feel like you really care for me. I'm gonna work with you. That's if they prioritize relationship. Some will prioritize neighborhood expert. Hey Kenny, I see your bench signs all over Oakland. You seem like the guy I got to call. Neighborhood expert. By default, he might win. He just has to show up and have the appropriate language to show that he can take them through the process. The other one is value. Some people want to know exactly what you're going to do to help them sell for more. They will ask you up front for a net sheet and ask you your justification on how you're able to sell it for more. How are you going to add value to the situation so that they can have a better result? And of course, the fourth one, which we're getting attacked on one side of cost-based brokerages, is offering rebates. Some people just want, if they talk to 4 people, one of them is going to offer a 1.5% fee on the listing side. Then the question becomes, hey, your name is Jay? Hey Jay, I really like our conversation. Seems like you're the neighborhood expert. Seems like you provide a lot of value to your clients. Seems like you seem to have a good head on your shoulders and you know what you're doing. But someone said they would be willing to do it for 4%. Are you? What do you say? So that just becomes a conversation about business standards, right? It's up to you. For me, I lead a team. A listing opportunity is just not one paycheck in my pocket, right? It's open house opportunities. It's the ability to add that to your track record so you have it on your resume to build a bigger portfolio of listings in the future. So I'm not saying you need to be flexible. You just need to understand your principles in your business to understand how does that add value besides $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in my pocket. Woohoo, I can go buy a car. No, right? So I would say if you can uncover what they are prioritizing up front in the conversation, and we all know that feeling when we get pitched by salespeople and they try to go from A to Z for 30 minutes over the phone trying to sell us on some sort of product. How annoyed are you guys? Who gets annoyed at that? We want to hang up right away, right? Don't go for the pitch right away. Ask questions. Hey, Jay, I know you're meeting 4 other people. What's important to you? I mean, you're still meeting me, right? So what have you heard that you like? What have you heard that you don't like? What do you want to hear from me? That alone, you shortcut your whole process. Hey, Jay, I'm sure you heard about a CMA analysis already. You probably got an idea how much it's worth. I'm sure you heard there's a range of commission that people are going to talk to you about, and we can talk about that too. Let's set all of that aside. We can talk about that nitty-gritty, that process stuff, but tell me what's important to you that you're meeting with me today, right? Because if you met with 3 other people and you're still meeting with me, something's wrong. You would have selected the right person if you found him or her, right? So anyways, I would say those 4 things. Yeah, hopefully it helps. Wait, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Wilson. All right.